Viewers, look at those pictures on the right of you. Going by the scenes being relayed from Parliament, you would think that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a tyrant who has dismembered the democratic fabric of the nation. MPs suspended in huge numbers are carrying placards around their necks and in their hands lamenting the murder of democracy. Look at those placards. They're on the march and appealing to the world to sympathize with their plight. Their lament is that free speech is dead in India, and anyone who dares to question the government is prosecuted for being an anti-national or raided for being corrupt. Punishment, they say, follows immediately. Sometimes the process itself of investigation, of being called, of harassment, etc. is the punishment. And when they're not talking about the death of democracy, then most often they will talk about the ghettoization of minorities, particularly Indian Muslims. On this subject, the opposition has a lot of support from an entire ecosystem that is totally invested in demonizing Sanatana Dharma by branding it at one with Nazism. Most often, the alleged victims of alleged oppression in Modi rule are to be found on national TV or writing columns, expansive ones, viewers, in the national press or international media. Others are on YouTube, on channels on YouTube or on X platform, happily airing a long list of grievances and personal invective against Modi. It's very ironical, viewers. In fascist states where strongmen police the airwaves and public spaces, this freedom to abuse the regime is not allowed. Try going out on Russian TV or social media or stand on the street outside of Putin's residence or anywhere in the country to abuse the president of Russia, and you will find yourself in a hospital breathing out of a ventilator. That is if you are lucky to be alive. So viewers, when this question was posed to Narendra Modi about the alleged shrinking of democracy in India and also the supposed marginalization of minorities by the journalists of the influential pink paper, the Financial Times, the Prime Minister offered a blistering fact check. Viewers, let me quote from that interview. Let me quote the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister said, "Look at the Parsi community. They found a safe haven in India, living happily and prospering. Indian society itself has no feeling of discrimination towards any religious minority. There is a whole ecosystem that is using freedom to hurl allegations. They have the right to do so, but others have an equal right to respond with facts. In 1947, says the Prime Minister, when India became independent, the British who left made a lot of very dire predictions about India's future. But we have seen that those predictions and preconceptions have all been proven false. Those who today similarly doubt this government will also be proven wrong," unquote. Viewers, it was a long interview. There are many, many more quotes where the Prime Minister talks about economic uplift, about how his policies discriminate against no one and benefit all. Sabka Saath. He talks about, viewers, the nation evolving into a Vishwa Guru. He talks about, viewers, the crackdown on corruption. He talks about the revolution that is sweeping India, that is creating jobs and opportunities, the startup revolution. There are several other very interesting facets of that interview. I really urge you to go and view it. Well, viewers, when you really talk about facts, the Prime Minister is not wrong or exaggerating on suggesting that minorities are safe and prospering in India. Just look at the hard facts and you will note that there is no institutionalized discrimination. And I always bring to you the hard facts, viewers. Why do I do it? So that you can get closer to the truth, cut through the propaganda and make informed decisions. And you will be required to make an informed decision in about 100 days. When, viewers, the poll process for the Lok Sabha elections gets underway. So let me bring you the hard facts. When we talk about institutionalized discrimination, then viewers, the hard facts do not in any way uphold this propaganda. In fact, the hard facts puncture the propaganda. 31% of homes under the Awas Yojana, the PM Awas Yojana, viewers, in 25 minority-dominated areas. 33% beneficiaries of PM Kisan Samman Nidhi are minorities, much above, as you know, the national average of the population of minorities in this country. 37% beneficiaries of PM Ujjwala Yojana are minorities. 36% beneficiaries of PM Mudra Yojana are minorities. This is the government's own reply in the Lok Sabha in March of last year. And as you know, viewers, replies in the Lok Sabha are scrutinized, and most importantly, you can't fudge data when you are replying in Parliament. Look at electricity access. Most improvement among the poorest 20% of Muslim homes at 71%. Those are hard facts. Bank account access 74% 2015 to 2016 to 93% in 4 years, with largest gains among Muslims. Mobile phone access moving up from 37% and 33% in Muslim and Hindu-Muslim clusters respectively. Toilet facilities cross 50% target for Sikh and Muslim households. Access to water 63% 2015-16 to 68% in 2019-2021 for Muslim households. Scholarships 7% rise in grants to minorities between 2014 and 2019. And viewers, nor is free speech being circumscribed. The fourth estate, the entertainment sector, is growing. So is voter turnout, suggesting that people have faith in the political process. Let's look at democracy dying hard and let's measure it against the growth of news media. It's growing number of registered publications. Look at your screens, viewers. Look at the rise. From 2021-2022, the number is almost 1.5 lakh. And viewers, we are talking about just under 1 lakh. As you know, in 2013-2014, just before the NDA took over. Even the news media is growing. India is spending 82% of its time on mobile phone apps, on media and entertainment. The Indian media and entertainment sectors powered through to a growth of about 20% to reach 2.1 trillion rupees in 2022. India secures 4th rank in ICT services exports. India's media and entertainment industry is expected to grow to 100 billion by 2030 at 10 to 12% CNAGR. That's the annual growth rate, led by OTT, gaming, animation, and VFX. 93% of YouTube viewers watch content in Hindi or other regional languages. So it's a growing dynamic sphere, viewers. Digital advertising is growing. It's all being, there looks like an upside to it. On more and more people turning out to vote. Why would people turn out to vote if they thought it didn't matter, viewers? Look at the numbers. Total votes polled in 2019 has almost grown by, viewers, 1 crore, 2 crores. Actually more than that. 6.5, 7 crores. Let's look at another number. It's very, very important, viewers. The turnout. Turnout has also grown per election. There is no indifference. People want to vote because they believe in their democratic process. Neither is India a single-party democracy. Every year, new parties are being born and taking a claim on power. Several states are being ruled by opposition parties, and a testament to the space in India for new ideas and ideologies. Look at, viewers, the numbers. They're there on your screen. The opposition-controlled states, viewers. Look at 2014. There were 7 BJP-ruled states. And these numbers for the opposition-ruled states are holding steady or growing. If you just press the continue button on that data sheet, you will see the numbers. And let's go now to 2019. and you will see the waxing and waning viewers of democracy in this country. There are enough examples to show that democracy is thriving. The clearest, most visible is the fact that you can say anything you want in this country against anyone you want. Let's get to the big debate. It is an agenda-setting interview. Has the Prime Minister set the record straight? Let's ask this question. Let's go straight across and ask people, viewers. And that's the big question. And it's brought to you, viewers, by Motorola. We are posing that. Has the Prime Minister set the record straight? Let's dive in without delay. Let's go. Let me begin with Sanjay Jha and Dr. Suman C. Raman. Shehzad Poonawalla is there. Dr. Raman, first to you. Dr. Raman, the Prime Minister seems to have set the record straight on all this sort of whataboutery about, my gosh, minorities are being ghettoized and free speech is in the ICU. Your response?
Rahul, I noticed at the start of the program, you compared the situation here with Putin's Russia. I mean, that itself told me all that I needed to know. I mean, for God's sake, Rahul, Putin's Russia does not claim to be a full-fledged democracy at no stage. We are, I mean, if our bar is going to be comparing with Russia or China or North Korea, then I think we are in bad shape. So I don't understand the rationale. India has been for all these years, despite all the flaws that we've had, has been a vibrant parliamentary democracy. Now, Parliament itself is fairly dysfunctional, and for all practical purposes, now with all the opposition MPs having been suspended and so on. So the element of free speech is not comparable to what Russia or China have. They should be comparable to what Western democracies have. I would have loved it if you had said we are having a greater extent level of free speech than the United States, or had you said maybe Western Europe. But I didn't see you do that. You want to compare us to, I mean, this is like saying our levels of hunger and poverty are better than sub-Saharan Africa. You don't want to compare yourself with sub-Saharan Africa for hunger and poverty, right? You would like to compare yourself with something better. So I fail to see the logic itself in this argument. Our bottom line is, where was freedom of speech earlier in India? Where is it now? And where is it heading?
Do you think, Dr. Raman, that Modi is a dictator? He has quashed free speech.
Look, the weakening of institutions has been
tell
happening.
me, yes or no?
No, I'm not here to comment about individual A or individual B. The weakening of institutions that has happened in a sequential manner.
Why are you dancing around? Why are you dancing around?
Does not bode well for democracy.
No, one second. Now, one second. Viewers, look, if you noticed what Dr. Raman said, Dr. Raman began by attacking me for taking a comparison. The reason I'm doing it is because that is what the opposition does day in and day out. They compare Modi to a czar. They compare him to dictators. So I am plucking out, viewers, one of the dictators, not very far from here, Mr. Putin. That is what dictators do. They shoot, they put into ICU their opponents. Which opponent here, viewer, is in the ICU? One second, excuse me, Suman C. Raman. 1 second. You
don't get there in
one second, please. I can only compare apples with apples when the opposition decides to do so. The opposition itself compares an apple to an orange to a rotten apple. Now, what am I supposed to do? If I take that as the benchmark, then I am the villain. You have to make up your mind. You sit here on national TV. Now, Sanjay Jha will open up and he will say, Modi is this, Modi is that. He comes back every day, viewers. He comes back every day on this channel, on several other channels, and says the same thing. He's living a happy life. He's making money hand over fist. He's progressing. He's writing books. Books that he writes, books and articles that he writes are being published. They are being read. They are being commented upon. And we call ourselves a democracy and a dictatorship. I just find it bizarre. Anyhow, one second. Dr. Raman has made some introductory points. Let me bring in Shehzad Poonawalla. Shehzad Poonawalla, Now we are being told we are comparing oranges with some other kind of fruit, rotten apples. So I don't know where to start, because there is no factual information that I got from Sumansi Raman disproving the facts that I have put out.
No, because I don't. You
Good
didn't
evening,
give me
Rahul.
time to
Thank you
complete.
for inviting me, and I hope Sumansi Raman, in the interest of a debate on free speech, won't interrupt me. And perhaps he's right. Maybe the comparison shouldn't be with Russia. So let me, although I loved your preface to the introductory debate, but I would like to compare it with Nehru's, Rajiv Gandhi's, and Indira Gandhi's India. Nehru brings in the First Amendment, curbs free speech. Nehru arrests Majru Sultanpuri. Indira Gandhi imposes emergency, puts the entire opposition in jail, censors the media, makes the Supreme Court crawl. Indira Gandhi ke baad Rajiv Gandhi puts the Press Freedom, Press Defamation Act, Anti-Defamation Act and Press Bill. This is his legacy. And then Manmohan Singh, 66A. So that is about freedom of speech. That's where we have come from. And today we have a situation where Sanjay Jha and his ilk can come on television and abuse the Prime Minister day in, day out. Nobody's putting him in jail. Now, Rahul, I can understand why it is, in the words of the Gen Z generation, a moe moe moment for those who believe in Islamophobia narrative. Today, let me compare again with Nehru, Indira and Rajiv's tenure. 1969 Ahmedabad, 500 Muslims killed. 1970 Jalgaon, 100 Muslims killed. 1980 Moradabad, 1500 killed. 1983 Delhi, 3000 killed. 1984 Bhiwandi, 146 killed. 1990 Hyderabad, 365 killed. 1992 Surat, 152 killed. 1993 Mumbai, 1000 killed. 2013 Muzaffarnagar, 100 killed. Now, tell me if any big riot of that scale has taken place in Modi's India in the last 9.5 years. Actually, none. What has happened, as you rightly showed, is that whether it's Arfa or Anand, whether it's Rahul or whether it's Rahim, all of them get a fair share in the schemes of Prime Minister Modi. But let me tell you something about Gujarat, because Gujarat is where they come back to. Gujarat 2011, 73.5% literacy rate of Muslims, where the national average was 60.9%. Where was it the lowest? In Bengal, secular Bengal. Also, public sector participation of Muslims, 9% population of Muslims in Gujarat, 9% share in high posts in public sector enterprises, 25% is the population share of Muslims in West Bengal. The share in high-end PSU jobs, 6.3%, in 1.2%, and in general jobs 6.3%. These are hard facts that can't be changed. By the way, also let me tell you, AMU funding 673 crores in 2014-15, 1,200 crores in 2021-22. Minority scholarships, the 2.94 crore under UPA, NDA 1 3.14 crore. The PM's budget for minority affairs 2013 3,511 crores, 2022 5,020 crores. If this is discrimination, if this is bad for Muslims, what is good? By the way, APJ Abdul Kalam was made the President of India by the NDA government. Bharat Ratna was given to Ustad Bismillah Khan under the NDA government. Asif Ibrahim was the IB chief who was continued of the UPA government under Prime Minister Modi. Also, Syed Akbaruddin was the permanent representative to the United Nations. Ghulam Ali Khatana, somebody who comes from Jammu Kashmir, never got representation from the Gujar Samaj, was given a representation in the Rajya Sabha. This is what has been done. And out of the 15 civilian top honors that Prime Minister Modi has got, seven come from Muslim nations. You know which Muslim nations? The most important religious Muslim nation, Saudi Arabia. The most influential and prosperous Muslim nations, Bahrain and UAE. The most emotional Muslim nation, Palestine. The most conservative Muslim nation, Afghanistan. And the most visited Muslim nation, Maldives. Sanjay Jha, you need to quit this propaganda.
Okay. Rahul, can I answer? I need
on facts, but
of time.
on facts. Eschew the rhetorics. Today, the public wants to know facts.
No rhetoric. Give me 5 minutes that you have given this gentleman.
Sure, go on.
And the viewers of your show will know the truth behind the BJP. Number one, this gentleman talked about no riots under Modi. Hello. Is the BJP become such a cheap fake news party? Is Manipur not a riot? Do you consider Delhi not a riot? I mean, how shameful can you be? Do you not consider Noor Haryana a riot? I mean, look at the liars. I mean, the fake news being spread on your show. By the way, let me add to that. Muzaffarnagar 2013, we know who was responsible. Gujarat 2002, we know who was the chief minister, denied a visa by the United States. We also know the 1992-93 communal riots that happened after the Babri Masjid demolition. All the riots since 1992, all the big six riots have the hand of the saffron party of the BJP. Nobody can deny that. Can you imagine the shamelessness and the audacity to come on a national television and pretend that Manipur hasn't happened? or that Delhi riots didn't happen? I mean, how disgusting is this? Now, my second point. I wish Narendra Modi actually held a press conference so that we could actually hear him say what he supposedly, and I hope that interview is not drafted by a bureaucrat or some well meaning political advisor, because the truth is, we would like to see a prime minister. Rahul, you're a seasoned veteran here. Tell me, in which democracy of the world is there a leader who for 9 years एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में नहीं होल्ड किया उन्होंने? What is he scared of? Narendra Modi has a lot to explain to the people of India. Point number 3, I take a strong objection to the statement that, by the way, Mr. Poonawala made, and I think even you alluded to that I come, and many people like me, including maybe Sumant and others who are critical of Mr. Modi and his government, Mr. Modi is doing a great favor that an ED CBI is not in my home, that we are not in jail. Hey bro, I'm a citizen of this country. We have a constitution. We have a fundamental right. And I do know that Mr. Modi's government is vindictive enough and is probably doing his homework on all of us. We all know that. Okay. But we are also having the confidence that if we are ever attacked wrongfully, we also know how to take an action and perhaps even sue the institutions if it comes to it. Now, point number 4, very important. You are talking at a time when today Sakshi Malik has said that she's quitting wrestling, an Olympic winner of a bronze medal, because a sexual predator of the BJP whom Mr. Modi has tried to protect, his crony has now become the head. This is the state of the way you treat women in this country. Bilkis Banu's rapist released. I mean, record unemployment, record food inflation, an Adani issue that is being stalled. Rahul Gandhi is disqualified. Mahua Mitra is thrown out because they question Mr. Modi and Adani. Here is another one. The abuse of ED, CBI and income tax. Can anybody ignore these realities? And since I can go on and
all
on,
rhetoric. Last 3 points, complete rhetoric, sir.
One last point.
From the ED onwards, complete rhetoric. Complete rhetoric.
One last point. Hear this out. The
facts are not bearing you out, sir, on inflation, on even unemployment. You can choose your agencies, you can choose CMAI and all of that, but let's go by the data that has been, that has been quoted in the FT interview also.
Okay, let me answer you the last point. I challenge openly through your program, Mr. Modi, Mr. Shah, anybody in the finance ministry, Mr. Poonawala, anybody, to kindly disclose to the people of India who are the corporates who are funding you in electoral bonds. I think we will see perhaps
Sanjay Jha, I think you haven't understood the concept of the electoral bond. I'm not a fan of it, but it's a vast improvement on what we had. It is also being examined in the courts. It will be looked at, and remember that your political party also sort of signed up for it. Let's not forget.
It is also raising funds.
One second. I mean, there was a complete consensus in Parliament on that. So let's not try to put this at Modi's door. On the ED, you're speaking on a day when a minister in Tamil Nadu has been convicted on the back of an ED investigation. And Dr. Raman, we will come to that in the second half of this program. We'll talk about it. 1 second. Shahzad Poonawala wants to respond to you point by point since... Okay, now let's get the... Sir, please. Let's get the... Listen, you are talking to an anchor who was prosecuted by a particular state government because I reported a factual story which today has been held up by the courts. And I was interrogated at 3 in the morning, sir.
It is not an ED investigation.
No, that's wrong. Please, don't. Yeah, let Shahzad Poonawala respond to you. It's not about me. Let's go back.
Rahul, now if I may.
Start by the Manipur riots.
I never ran away from an investigation, sir. I said, come question me. I never ran away to Vipassana.
If I may be indulged.
Yes.
Let Mr. Poonawala.
Let him respond if you allow him.
Why has Mr. Modi not gone to
allow Mr. Poonawala to speak.
Rahul.
Yes.
But let him not try a Bollywood.
Let him speak. You can judge him after.
The The hallmark of a democracy is to listen to the other side. And Rahul, I said that has there been any such big riot that has taken place under Congress's watch like there has been in Muzaffarnagar or in other places? And he came up with no. In no, out of the 6 people killed, 4 were Hindus.
I came up with Manipur
So guess
and
who was
Delhi.
Can you
By the
listen
way,
to the other side, please?
Rahul,
Sanjay ji, please. Let Shehzad
Rahul,
Punhala finish. You can
as
pick
far
holes.
as Manipur is
Let's not
concerned,
bluff.
Take your pen and make a record of it
Rahul,
and respond.
as far as
yes.
I'm making a record.
like I did, exactly like I did. On Manipur, Rahul, on Manipur, no less than the Prime Minister and Home Minister spoke in Parliament. We saw who ran away from Parliament, but in 93, 96 and in 2011, when Manipur was burning for more than 300 days, at that time not even an MOS Home Affairs was going and visiting Manipur. And by the way, please Mr. Sanjay Jha, tell me, Bodo Accord, Naga Accord, Peru Riang Accord, Karbi Anglong Accord, Assam Meghalaya dispute, why didn't you sign this over 70 years and solve the issues? These weren't issues that were created after 2014. These were issues that were there for the last 60, 70 years that were prevailing in Northeast. In fact, 1 lakh crores of money was spent in building infrastructure and more than 9 airports have come up, and there is a road connectivity that you never did. For the first time, Manipur and Mizoram have seen freight trains go there, and for the first time in Mizoram, you are down to 1 seat after the elections and the BJP has doubled its tally. So notwithstanding the kind of propaganda you have been doing, 95% Christian community and 90% literacy rate people have given BJP more seats than Congress party. That's about the Northeast. This debate is not about the Northeast. And if you are talking about women's rights and women's atrocities, you should take a stand on Nitish Kumar. You should also take a stand on the incident that took place in Belgavi, where the High Court was constrained to say that this was not even something that was as frightening as Draupadi's Chirharan. It was more frightening than that. By the way, on unemployment and inflation, you are still asking those questions. The verdict of the people, Madhya Pradesh, they repeated a government after 18 years and they deleted your government which had record inflation, record unemployment in Rajasthan after 5 years, and you still have the audacity to ask this question. Rahul Gandhi, Rahul, may I please continue? Rahul, if I may please continue. Rahul, if I may please.
Mr. Jha,
Why is
the
he
people
heckling?
who are intolerant
Why is
on
he
this
heckling?
debate are you people
Why
who are
is he
complaining
heckling?
about, I don't know, lack of freedom of free speech.
Why are you heckling?
आप बोले जाने
You
सुनने
spoke.
दो.
Let me speak.
I'm enjoying
Now, Rahul, the
change
fundamental
around.
question that you are asking today, Rahul, I think the people can see who's having a meltdown on this debate. At least for all of Mr. Raman's allegations, he's at least holding his peace and letting the other side speak. And I respect him for that. Rahul, only thing I have to say is today you asked 2 specific questions on the state of freedom of speech and on the state of Muslims and minorities in this country. I have given certain statistics of both tenures, the Congress tenure and the BJP tenure. Why doesn't Sanjay Jha back up at least one of his claims with hardcore facts? Let me give you last example. Mob lynching, which they keep talking about, it is now the BNS that will have a law against mob lynching. For 70 years they spoke about mob lynching, they could not come up with a law. Sanjay Jha, you are only behaving immature.
Okay,
I think
one
you should
second.
at least
Let me-
act your age.
1 second,
You should at
please.
least
Ask
act
me a
your age.
question, let me give him an answer.
Okay, one second.
Please
Let
look
me
at the
also bring in
data.
Karan Verma. I've heard two.
Please,
1 second.
Since Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, उस data को जरा देख लो.
Sanjay
And by
Jha,
the way,
1
you are the
second, please. Let me
CRPF
bring in
constable
Karan Verma.
who
Look,
is hunting
Sanjay Jha,
down
don't be
people
selective. There have been enough murders of also Hindus, targeted killings, by the way, of Hindus. So let's not be selective, please. If you want to have
not
a
be
proper
selective, Rahul. Look at
fact-ridden
data.
debate, I haven't hidden any of the
Look at hard
data. I
data.
haven't selectively cherry-picked anything. 1 second. Karan Verma, I want you to come in on this. You've been an observer. What do you make of the PM's response today?
No, I think the one statement that really caught my attention was that if you have the right to spread your misinformation or so-called fact-checking, then we also have the right to check you and counter you with facts. And just because your show is also about hard facts, and you and Shehzad have presented a whole barrage of facts, and I'll add to that. Before 2014, there were just 20,000 who were skill trained. Today it is 2 million. Not just that, Rahul, amongst the minorities, just 5% government jobs. Now that has gone up to 10%. Girls dropout rate amongst minorities before 2014, it was 70%. Now it is reduced to 30%. So these are hard facts. And Sanjay Jha is a master of cherry picking and changing the goalpost. When he talks of electoral funding, let me remind him, in 2012, the Congress party, 89% of its funding was through unknown sources, because they could all get away with this loophole of giving anything less than 20,000 and just get away with anonymity. So that was your reality in 2012. And look at the hypocrisy, Rahul. Even right now, In Mamata Banerjee's West Bengal, there is a Professor Mahapatra, when he talks of free speech, who had to rot in jail for 10 years just for forwarding Mamata Banerjee's cartoon. And he was later acquitted. But Sanjay Jha's heart will not ache for him. Sanjay Jha's heart will not ache for 45 plus killed during the Panchayat polls under Mamata Banerjee's West Bengal. He is all set to accuse Mr. Modi, but at that time, it is as if the cat catches his tongue. So they are the ones who are the hypocrites, and when confronted with facts, they start changing the goalposts. Can Sanjay Jha answer on any of the facts, whether it is skilling, whether it is housing, whether it is scholarships? Mr. Modi has delivered and walked the talk. Can you counter these facts?
Okay, let me one second. This is not about It's not about Sanjay Jha. This is about India's democracy, viewers. And I can tell you, when the turnout increased a few days back in those state elections, people said, oh, this is a vote for change, vote for change. That's why people are voting in bigger numbers. People will only vote in a system, viewers, where there is response, where they know their vote will count, where they will know that their vote can actually either endorse or bring about change. Otherwise, they will move away. Anywhere in the world, viewers, where people are already distraught of the state of their economy, you look at the turnout figures, you look at America, viewers, today, where Mr. Trump is not even being allowed to stand for a primary in a particular state, and the people are so divided that there is no murmur of protest, at least from a whole 52% of the population, on something as draconian as that. Now think about that, viewers. Look at the cynicism there in America. If you want me to compare apples with A-grade apples, here it is, viewers. Apples with A-grade apples. And we are talking about, someone said that, oh, America had banned Modi from traveling. Well, Modi has been there about 7 times now, maybe 8. So is it because Modi has been deemed innocent of 2002? Or is it because, viewers, fundamentally, people realize that the ban itself was motivated? Think about that. Think about the odds. Dr. Raman, I just want to come back to you. I want to ask you specifically, do you believe, don't go into whataboutery, democracy in India has shrunk under Modi because of Modi? Simple, straightforward question.
Look, who it is because of is not the point.
Okay,
the
that's
point
it. I leave it at that, viewers. I leave it at that. There's no issue. There is no issue.
Democracy shrinking?
There is no
My
issue.
answer would be yes. Democracy.
How is it shrinking, sir?
Look, when was the last time you had 150 MPs suspended in
I'll
Parliament?
tell you, sir. It's not about
No, tell me.
numbers.
I
It's
don't
not about
remember.
numbers. Since when?
I don't
Since
remember.
when?
When was the
Since,
last
I'll tell
time?
you, viewers, one second.
was the
I'll
last
tell you.
time?
No, Dr. Raman, you listen to me, please. Listen to me. This is very important. Viewers, we have been fed this garbage for years altogether that it is the government's responsibility to run parliament. It's like saying that in the face of truancy by students, it is the teacher's responsibility to ensure discipline.
Rahul,
While the
it's
students
very
are throwing things
unfortunate.
at the teacher,
It's
they're
very unfortunate
they're holding
that you
placards,
are being
they're wearing
critical.
black clothes,
Rahul,
they are
Rahul,
remonstrating, they're rushing in,
Rahul,
taking the books and
very
tearing them up.
unfortunate you're
I mean,
being so critical
where
of
is
the
this?
late Arun
Where is
Jaitley
this
and Sushma
notion
Swaraj.
of? No, hang on.
Very unfortunate, Rahul.
So what-
You
what-
are being so critical of the late Arun Jaitley and late Sushma Swaraj.
Was
both
he
of
right?
whom multiple
Just
times
because
said
he
it is
did
the
it, have I?
responsibility
No,
of the
hang on.
government
Just
to
because he
ensure
did
that
it,
Parliament runs.
did I support it?
They
I
are
don't
on
support
record.
it. I
You
didn't
can see the
support it
videos.
then, sir, and I don't support it now. Go back into my
They
past
are the
and see
ones-
the debates.
They are the
I have
ones
done.
who said it is the
Sir,
responsibility
please
of
go
the
back.
government to
Go
run
back.
Parliament.
If there is one person who's consistent, it's me. I criticized Jaitley at that point for what he said and what he did. Even in my interview, I asked him. Please, let's call a
the
spade a
point
spade.
is-
I'm not. No. There's no point, sir. The point is you have no point. The point
No,
is
no,
that
I
there are
have
no
a very valid
statistics.
point.
The point is there are no
very
facts.
simple.
I need to move on,
When
viewers.
they were in the opposition,
Fair
slogan
enough.
hearing, getting into the well of the house and disrupting parliament, it was the responsibility of the government to run parliament.
Please
Now,
read my article,
it is
sir.
not
I've even written the
responsibility
article
of the
today.
government
Please
to
go
run
and
the
read it.
parliament.
I even cite Mr. Jaitley and I tell him why he's wrong. I'm no hypocrite, sir. I don't believe in hypocrisy. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who do. And I think the facts are out there. Yes, very quickly, 10 seconds, Shadad, because I need to move on to the other very important story.
Mr. Jaitley and Sushma Swaraj were not mimicking the chair of the house. Even when the entire opposition was jailed during the emergency, Mr. Vajpayee and Mr. Modi never went and mimicked the Prime Minister
was
or
mimicking?
made
Okay,
fun
anyhow,
or mocked
all
the
of that-
body
Who
or
was
the
mimicking?
posture of
Who
any
was
chair.
mimicking?
Okay, now, Dr. Raman,
Who
please.
was
I mean, ask Mamata
No, I'm
Banerjee.
just
She'll
asking.
tell you who was mimicking whom. Please, just ask her.
No.
Put a
My
mic to her
question
and
is,
ask her. She's already
Kalyan
said
Banerjee was
Rahul
questioned.
Gandhi. No,
He
now
said he
Mamata
did not name
Banerjee is.
anybody.
Okay, I can't
said
believe
he
it,
did not
sir.
name
Just on
anybody.
forwarding a
She
cartoon
came and
to
said.
put him in jail.
Okay,
Professor
anyhow,
Mahapatra.
just a minute. Viewers, look. This has been one of those consequential days, and now we're moving on to the next debate.